you don't need any introduction. He is very famous preacher and well versed with the Shastras. Prabhu is my Bhakti Vaibhav classmate also, and it was my fortune to be a classmate of Prabhuji. He's a wonderful, wonderful student, wonderful preacher, and he has so many excellent qualities. I would like to hear from Prabhu today the glories of Lord Chaitanya Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu, over to you. Allah.
हरे कृष्ण। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सवधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। मुखं करोति वाचलं भंगं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं। हरि ओम तत्सत्। हरे कृष्णा। डियर डिवोटीज, डियर डिवोटीज, we are at a and in those sections of Chaitanya Charitamrita which is talking about glories of Srimati Radharani, and Srimati Radharani is just impossible to understand, and the base because of our acharyas, thanks to Srila Prabhupada and thanks to devotees, to a certain extent we might be able to understand and relish about the pastimes of Srimati Radharani along with Krishna. So I have been entrusted with, thanks to your group, wonderful group, some verses starting from 181, and I am planning to do till 196. Let us see in 1 hour's time to what extent we can go. But mind-blowing. So if Lord Chaitanya had not been there, then obviously we wouldn't have been able to understand about Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani happens to be the most intimate personality of Lord Krishna. And just like in a household, you would not like to talk about your wife and would not like to talk about what is your relationship with your wife. But here is Krishna. He is trying to use his intimate associates to reveal about himself as well as reveal about Srimati Radharani. And so we will come to know more about Srimati Radharani. I have captured some, okay, I have shared this. Obviously, the whole thing is from Veda base, but there will be some notes of mine. You will have to only bear with me. And if you have some questions in between, you can always ask me questions as well. Because for me, so esoteric a topic, on my own, I will not be able to do any justice to this particular subject. So let us start with text 181. Krishnero Vishuddho Prem Ratnero Akar Anupam Gunagana Purno Kolebar. Translation goes like this. Srimati Radharani is a mine filled with valuable jewels of love for Krishna. Her transcendental body is complete with unparalleled spiritual qualities. The moment unparalleled spiritual qualities came, then I started searching where to get all these spiritual qualities of Srimati Radharani. We know about 64 qualities of Krishna. I went to Nectar of Devotion and I could not find. Then I found them in Teachings of Lord Chaitanya by Srila Prabhupada. See, if Srila Prabhupada had not been there, we wouldn't have known about her 25 qualities, transcendental qualities, with which she can control even Krishna. Her transcendental qualities are sweetness personified, fresh young girl, always eyes always moving, brightly smiling, possesses all auspicious marks on her body. Her lotus feet, I should have actually like captured her lotus feet also. Can agitate Krishna by the aroma of her person. She is expert in the art of singing. I only thought that the gopis were expert in the art of singing. Most probably the gopis learned from her only. Speaks very nicely and sweetly. Expert in presenting feminine attractions. Modest and gentle. Always very merciful. Transcendentally cunning. Cunning. Very interesting. So we were double dealings. Was a question asked last time. So we find something very, very interesting about Srimati Radharani as well. Knows how to dress nicely, is always shy, always respectful, always patient, very grave. Enjoyed by Krishna, always situated on the highest devotional platform, is the abode of love of the residents of Gokul, can give shelter to all kinds of devotees, is always, so very interesting, can give shelter to all kinds of devotees. So we are very, very fortunate because we are part of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya and we follow Srimati Radharani. Because our Sampradaya is mostly Manjari Sampradaya and all the Manjaris are supposed to be maid servants of Srimati Radharani. And if Krishna starts interacting with these Manjaris, then they go and complain to Srimati Radharani. Hey, Krishna is trying to relate with us. Stop him. She is always affectionate to superiors and inferiors, always obliged by the dealings of her associates. Great. So this is very, very important. Obliged by the dealings of her associates. So whether Sakhis or Manjaris, she is obliged. And this is the reason why if we are able to somehow take our spiritual progress, holding the hands of a Sakhi, Manjari, and then we reach Srimati Radharani, she becomes obliged. She is the greatest among Krishna's girlfriends. She always keeps Krishna under her control. So if she is keeping Krishna under her control and she becomes obliged by the dealings of her associates, and we are able to latch ourselves to an associate, now you know what will happen to you. Obviously, you will become close to Krishna, and you will become Dai Bhak, means rightful claimant to the affection of Krishna. The supreme lover is Krishna in Vrindavan, and the supreme beloved is Radharani. Krishna has 64 main qualities, and his devotee takes transcendental pleasure in hearing of them. Krishna has 64 transcendental qualities. Krishna and Radharani are both transcendentally qualified, and they attract one another. But the Radharani's transcendental attractiveness is greater than Krishna's. This is coming from where? TLC, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, thanks to Srila Prabhupada. Because I think Srila Prabhupada is also oriented towards Srimati Radharani only. Who knows? He has not revealed himself. But still, through his writings, we are able to identify to a certain extent what type of orientation does Srila Prabhupada have. For her attractiveness is the transcendental taste in conjugal love. 182. का कृष्णस्य प्रणयजनी भू श्रीमती राधिकैका काश्य प्रेयसी अनुपमा गुना राधिकैका न चान्या जह्म्यं केशे दृशि तरलता निष्ठुरत्वं कूचे अस्या वंचा पूर्तै प्रभवती हरे राधिकायिका न चान्या. Translation. Could anybody read the translation, please?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Translation. If one asks about the origin of love of Krishna, the answer is that the origin is in Srimati Radharani alone, who is the most dear friend of Krishna. The answer again is Srimati Radharani alone, no one else. Srimati Radharani's hair is very curly. Her two eyes are always moving to and fro, and her breasts are firm. Since all transcendental qualities are manifested in Srimati Radharani, she alone is able to fulfill all the desires of Krishna, no one else. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Who is writing this? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Sri Govinda Lilamrita. And it is a verse in the form of questions and answers. So all these questions are there. The answers are glorifying Srimati Radharani. And we know that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is Kasturi Manjari, one of the intimate maidservants of Srimati Radharani. So there are Ashta Manjaris. Just like there are Ashta Sakis, there are Ashta Manjaris. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is one of them. And everything Srimati Radharani only. 183, 184. जार सौभाग्य गुण वांचे सत्यभामा जार रात्रि कला বিলাস শিখে ব্রজরামা যার সৌন্দর্যাদি গুণ वांचे লক্ষ্মী পার্বতী যার পবিত্রতা ধর্ম वांचे অরুন্ধতী. So there are many names in this particular, these two verses. Satyabhama, then Brajarama, then Lakshmi Parvati, Arundhati. So what is going on out here? Maybe some comparison is going on. Let's see. Yes. Anybody could read this?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Even Satyabhama, one of the queens of Sri Krishna, desires the fortunate position and excellent qualities of Srimati Radharani. All the gopis learn the art of dressing from Srimati Radharani, and even the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, and the wife of Lord Shiva, Parvati, desire her beauty and qualities. Indeed, Arundhati, the celebrated chaste wife of Vasishta, also wants to imitate the chastity and religious principles of Srimati Radharani. Hare Krishna.
So Satyabhama, when Krishna had to kill Narakasura, then he took Satyabhama. You know why? Because Satyabhama is actually Bhudevi. So in Brahma Vaivarta Puran, it is mentioned, 143rd verse of chapter 6, that Vasundhara will become Satyabhama. In Garga Samhita also it is said that Vasundhara is Satyabhama. Padma Puran, Sri Rudra said the glorious daughter of Satrajit, named Satya, born with a portion of the earth, was another wife of Krishna. So portion of earth. So she is also only Bhudevi. Krishna Upanishad, it says the mercy was born as Mother Rohini and the Mother Earth was born as Satyabhama. And Mahabharata, it's mentioned Srimati Rukmini Devi and Srimati Satyabhama Devi are Sri Shaktis, Sri Devi and Bhudevi respectively. So she was taken, Krishna took her to kill Narakasura. You know why? Because Bhudevi, who's Bhudevi? Bhudevi and Varadeva, their son is Narakasura. Because of bad association with Bhaumasura, he became Asura, Narakasura. All right. So Krishna had to kill his own son. How will he kill his own son? So he has to pacify the mother only. So he took the mother. All right, come mother. We will have to kill your son. Can you imagine? So Satyabhama only was, along with Satyabhama, he killed Narakasura. So this Satyabhama is compared out here, one of the queens of, because Satyabhama is like, is supposed to be incarnation of Srimati Radharani, it seems. And Chandravali is supposed to be incarnation of, and Rukmini is supposed to be incarnation of Chandravali. I'm not very, very clear about this. Please don't ask me questions on this. But Satyabhama could attract Krishna, Dwarka Krishna, so much that once she wanted a particular type of flower, Parijat flower. She wanted the entire, she saw a Parijat flower in the hand of Rukmini Devi. And she felt that why should only Rukmini Devi have Parijat flower? I think Narad Muni brought that Parijat flower and gave it to Rukmini Devi. And Narad Muni is always like wanting some chaos to happen. And he organized to get Satyabhama to see that Parijat flower in the hand of Rukmini Devi. Then Satyabhama wanted Krishna to get the entire plant, Parijat plant from the heavenly planets. And you know the pastime, what happened. Krishna had to fight with Indra to get that Parijat plant. And Krishna is like, Bhagavatam says that Krishna is like a hen-pecked husband. But actually he is not. He is very attracted by the service attitude of the queens of Dwarka. And Srimati Radharani is even more special compared to Satyabhama. Similarly, Lakshmi Devi, Parvati Devi, all of them. About Arundhati. Arundhati is the daughter of Kardama and Devahuti. And they had 9 daughters. And before the appearance of Kapil Muni. Kapil is the son of Devahuti. Then there are some, she got married to Vashishta. Vashishta is one of the Saptarshi. So there is, all these Saptarshis are supposed to be called Nakshatras. What are these Nakshatras? According to Bhagavatam, these Nakshatras are nothing but chariots. Big chariots where all these saintly figures are residing. So there is a Vashishta Nakshatra. Very close to Vashishta Nakshatra is this Arundhati Nakshatra. And she is supposed to be the most chaste lady. So how chaste? She was once what happened, Agnidev got attracted to all the wives of the Nakshatras. And he wanted to engage with the wives. Swaha is the wife of Agnidev. Swaha understood Agnidev's intention. Then Swaha actually what she did, she transformed herself into those wives. And then obviously he engaged with Agnidev. But Swaha could not transfer herself as Arundhati. Correct? Arundhati. She could not. Because Arundhati is the most chaste lady. And Swaha could not transfer herself into being the most chaste. So she could not. And all the nakshatras, all the actually the Saptarshis, they understood about the intention of Agnidev. They discarded their wives, except for Vashishta. Vashishta kept Arundhati because Vashishta knew that Arundhati is the most chaste lady. So if you see the nakshatras, you will find Arundhati nakshatra. And when there is somebody who gets married, is shown that Arundhati nakshatra, then it seems the marriage becomes very auspicious. But Srimati Radharani is more chaste compared to even Arundhati nakshatra. So how is she more chaste? Now our great, His Holiness Purushottam Swami Maharaj, he has written this book on the glories and pastimes of Srimati Radharani, in which this particular pastime is there, about how Krishna is supposed to be the most, Srimati Radharani is the most chaste lady. What happened? Srimati Radharani was complaining to Krishna that I am supposed to be called Kalankini. And so I'm not liking it. I want to commit suicide. Then Krishna said, wait, I will prove that you are the most chaste lady. Then next morning, what happened? Krishna, as a child, he fainted because he became very sick. and he fainted. And Srimati Radharani also fainted because she could not bear the fact that her child had fainted. Then there was one, and everybody was looking around, looking out, who will be able to save my child. And then Krishna again, Krishna can obviously be in different forms. So Krishna came in the form of a Vaidya. Vaidya means a doctor, Ayurvedic doctor. And he had all these Ayurvedic books and all that. And then he was loitering around. Then he was called. Please see, my Nanda Maharaj called. My son is in very, very bad shape and all that. So this person comes, the doctor comes, actually Krishna only comes, and he sees, oh, I know the solution. Somebody who is the most chaste lady will have to get water from Yamuna, using a container having 1,000 holes. And that too, what he did, he took some strands from the head of Krishna, strands of hair, and he said, but a condition is one will have to walk on this strand of hair and then pick up water from Yamuna. So very good. So that was the condition. So all these, it was announced everywhere. We need a chaste lady. So everybody thought they were the most chaste lady. Jatila Kutila also came. Then first, I think Jatila, she went with that particular container. But the moment she put her leg on the strand of hair, she fell in water. Then Jatila did, Kutila did, so many ladies. They were all trying their level best. Yashoda Mai thought that no. I am supposed to be the most chaste lady, so I will go. Immediately, the Vaidya said, no. The mother of the child cannot go. Because the mother of the child goes, then the entire exercise will fail. Finally, he said, then let me find out who is the most chaste lady. Then he started making some diagrams on the soil, this type of diagrams you do for finding the astrological diagrams. Then he said, I know there is one chaste lady. Her name is Radha. You call her. And everybody knew that she is Kalankini. Everybody was wondering what happened. How come Radha is supposed to be the most chaste lady? Okay, call her. She was called. Then she was given this particular container full of holes, 1,000 holes. And then she was made to walk on that strand. Then she started thinking of Krishna and she started walking. She actually walked. Then in the middle of Yamuna, she picked water. And Krishna, what he did, with 1,000 fingers, he stopped all the holes. And she was able to bring the container with full of water. Once the container was brought full of water, water was sprinkled on Krishna, and Krishna got up. And she was declared to be the most chaste lady. More chaste than even Arundhati. Hare Krishna. (185) Jar Shodgun Gonone Krishna na paয় পার তার গুণ গনিবে কেমনে জীব ছাড়. Even Lord Krishna himself cannot reach the limit of the transcendental qualities of Srimati Radharani. How then can an insignificant living entity count them? Because he was unable to know what happened once. Rukmini Devi, she started crying when Krishna was there and she was serving Krishna. And Krishna said, why are you crying? I am crying because no, you will not understand why am I crying. Only two persons will understand why am I crying. One Srimati Radharani will understand and I will understand. But why are you crying? I am there, na? I am here only, na? No, you will not understand this feeling of separation. All right. So then Krishna thought, this is too much. I know everything. I am supposed to be like all knower. And there is one thing I do not know, so I want to know. So this is the reason why he thought, he decided that he will immediately, very soon he will come. He will return in the form of Lord Caitanya, And then Srimati Radharani, she came to know about this, and that because he approached Srimati Radharani, said, you have to give me your heart. So you give me your heart, then I can become Lord Chaitanya. Srimati Radharani said, all right, I give you my heart and my bhava, all that I will give you, but you'll have to take another thing. You'll have to take my color, skin color. Why? Because with this bhava, you will keep falling on the ground and you will hurt yourself. So you take my skin color, so the hurt will not reach your skin color. So something like that. So Lord Chaitanya, he's called Gauranga. Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. Hare Krishna. So that completes one subsection, glories of Srimati Radharani. And so many weeks have gone by, and the group has so wonderfully floated in the glories of Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani's glories continue. Now, the glory of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna is basically the next few verses. So 186. Prabhu kahe janilu Krishna Radha prem tatto shunite chahiye duhar bilash mahatto. Here what is happening? Lord Chaitanya is actually listening to all this from Rāmānanda Rāya. And Lord Chaitanya is like himself feeling very blissful and very ecstatic, and he also does not want the glories of Srimati Radharani to stop. And Rāmānanda Rāya is saying that it is because of you only I am able to spell out all these glories. So the translation goes like this. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, now I have come to understand the truth of the loving affairs between Radha and Krishna. Nonetheless, I still want to hear how both of them gloriously enjoy such love. So it is not complete. In spite of so much of glories of Srimati Radharani, it does not end. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. So it keeps on increasing, Hare Krishna. 187. Rai kahe Krishna hoy dhir lalita nirantar kam krida jahar charita. So very interesting. Rāmānanda Rāya says Krishna is dhir lalita. So, what happened? Oh, it doesn't matter. I will change it later. Rāmānanda Rāya replied, Lord Krishna is dhir lalita, for he can always keep his girlfriends in a subjugated state. Thus, his only business is enjoying sense gratification. Now, Krishna and sense gratification? What is going on out here? This is too much. Is this double dealing? I do not know whether this is double dealing, but Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada from his dictaphone comes out so beautiful a purport. We should always remember that Krishna's sense gratification is never to be compared to the sense gratification of the material world. As we have already explained, Krishna's sense gratification is just like gold. The perverted reflection of that sense gratification found in the material world is just like iron. The purport is that Krishna is not impersonal. He has all the desires that are manifest in the perverted reflection within this material world. However, the qualities are different. One is spiritual and the other is material. Just as there is difference between life and death, there is difference between spiritual sense gratification and material sense gratification. I recall that particular verse. This is, I suppose, one of the memorization verses of NOD. So, Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat paradvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktiruchyate. Rishikesha, he is the master of senses. Rishikena, with using our senses to satisfy the master of senses. How? By satisfying his senses. So bhakti or devotional service means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. So service of satisfying the senses of Krishna. So the spiritual senses and material senses, and we have understood by now from chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita that this is Urdhva Moolam. Urdhva Moolam means like this is a inverted banyan tree. This particular material world is an inverted banyan tree with lots of branches and leaves and twigs and all that. There are opportunities, and there are opportunities for liberation, opportunities for sense gratification. Because anyway, when we decided that we will go against Krishna, Krishna bahirmukh hoya, bhogavancha kare, means in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 29, we find that ichha dvesa samuthena. Ichha means desire. What is the desire we had? We had a desire to enjoy. Enjoyment is obviously like our basic nature. Because we are supposed to be Satchidananda, similar to Krishna only. Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha. We are also supposed to be Satchidananda. And so we have this propensity to enjoy. Correct? But Bahirmukh Hoya means Ichha Dvesha. The second word is very important. Dvesha means we became envious of Krishna because of our avidya. We wanted to enjoy, but independent of Krishna. That is the reason why we are in this material world. So once we are in the material world, then bhoga vancha kare means we are basically like bhoga means all enjoying. We have this enjoying propensity, independent of Krishna. So we are basically doing what? Sense gratification. But this is a perverted reflection of the type of sense gratification which is done in the spiritual world. And when Krishna's senses are satisfied, then all the devotees' senses are also get satisfied. So when there is Hari Toshanam, then everybody gets satisfied. Verse 188.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam, Prabhuji. Yeah, Prabhuji, this is what is Dhira Lalita?
Oh, what is Dhira Lalita? I'll come to that. I'll come to that. Please hold on. Dhira Lalita, I have captured that particular point also, but later. Because Dhira Lalita is coming in this particular verse also. Vidagdho nava tarunya parihasa visaradaha nischinto dhira lalita syat prayah prayasi vasaha. So a person who is very cunning and always youthful, expert in joking and without anxiety, and who can keep his girlfriends always subjugated is called Dhira Lalita. Hare Krishna. Now you will say, what is this going on? What is Krishna like through his examples trying to show us? Should we also become Dhir Lalita? Or we should only glorify that Krishna is Dhir Lalita? Maybe the second is more important. So this verse is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, from our, but not from, is it from? No, it is not. It is chapter 23 of Nectar of Devotion. So a person is called Dhir Lalita if he is naturally very funny, always in full youthfulness, expert in joking, and free from all anxieties. In colleges, you will find this type of characters who are supposed to be Dhir Lalitas. They will be very joking and they will have all sorts of associations and they will love it. Such a Dhir Lalita personality is generally found to be domesticated and very submissive to his lover. This Dhir Lalita trait in the personality of Krishna is described by Yagna Patni, the wife of one of the Brahmanas, who were performing sacrifices in Vrindavan. She tells her friends, one day Srimati Radharani, accompanied by her associates, was taking rest in her garden. And at that time, Lord Sri Krishna arrived in that assembly. After sitting down, he began to narrate very impudently about his previous night's pastimes with Radharani. So in front of everybody, he's talking about the pastimes with Radharani. While he was speaking in that way, Radharani became very embarrassed. She was feeling ashamed and was absorbed in thought. And Krishna took the opportunity to mark her breasts with different kind of tilaka. Krishna proved himself to be very expert in that art. in this way, Krishna as Dhir Lalita was enjoying his youthful proclivities in the company of the gopis. So they were basically small children. All this has happened. Dhir Lalita thing was happening in the, I think in the Kaishore stage. Kaishore is like, see what, very, very intriguing. It is like this. Krishna left Vrindavan when he was 10 years, 8 months. But at that time, his maturity was around 15, 16 years. So you'll have to always do like this. His physical years will be 2/3 of his mature years. So in Goloka, he is constantly 16 years old, Kashore age. But that Kashore age for Krishna in Vraja Lila took place before 11 years. Around 10 years. So he was around 8, 9 years old when all this like pastime was taking place. So he was enacting his Dhir Lalita pastime when he was that young. Generally, those who are expert in writing drama choose to call Cupid the ideal Dhir Lalita. But we can more perfectly find in the personality of Krishna all the characteristics of Dhir Lalita. So my question is, should we be Dhir Lalita and enact all these dramas? Or should we be glorifying Krishna because of his characteristic of being a Dhir Lalita? Now, there are many such pastimes. Krishna collects tax from Srimati Radharani. So there was this tax pastime where Srimati Radharani and all the Sakhis, they used to carry on their heads and the butter and things like that to take to, I think she used to go to Mathura or somewhere for selling them, so that for exchanging them. Those days, there was no concept of selling. Vedic period was basically barter system. So you barter your whatever ingredients you have and you take whatever you require. So like that, the livelihood used to continue during the Vedic period. So there was this, I think this was Sankhari Kor or somewhere, where Krishna stood his ground and he said, you have to pay taxes to cross this. So that was, there were all these pastimes that took place. I have many other pastimes where Krishna is playing all those type of pranks. You know this pastime of Manse Ganga? So Srimati Radharani and the gopis and the Sakhis, they had to cross Mansi Ganga. They engaged one boatman, and the boatman was Krishna only. And the boat, they got on the boat. The boatman was riding very well. Suddenly he stopped. He said, I have become very tired. Yes, you people are very heavy. So you people have too many ornaments on you, and you have to throw your ornaments. So Krishna said, he throw it. So they threw the ornaments. Then Krishna, then they said, now that we have thrown the ornaments, you have to row the boat. If you don't row, then we will throw you out. Then Krishna, all right, I'll row. After some time, he stopped rowing the boat. So all sorts of pastimes are there. Very, very wonderful pastimes where Krishna always is playing fast one on Srimati Radharani. There is another pastime. So this particular book is a gem of a book by His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj. So this particular pastime of pearl tree. So Krishna, he grew some plants and there were pearls on that plants, because Krishna wanted some pearls, I think, from Srimati Radharani, and they disagreed to give him pearls. So he had so there was this competition going on. So on the trees there were pearls of Krishna's trees, there were pearls, but Radharani's trees there were no pearls, because anyway this is a pastime which Krishna wanted to play. And when actually, like, what had happened, they had what Krishna had said, if you sow these pearls on the ground, there will be pearl trees. So they had all these pearl necklaces. So they broke the pearl necklaces and dropped all the pearls in the ground in their plot of land, thinking that there will be pearl trees. There were no pearl trees. But in Krishna's plot, there were all these pearl trees. So they were wondering what to do. And then Lalita, as usual, comes to do the negotiation. And Subal Sakha is always there for negotiation. But negotiation was failing. Krishna said, nothing doing. I'm not giving any pearls. So, and they had taken pearls from their parents, all these Srimati Radharani and the Sakhis, and they could not go home also. And because the parents would immediately ask, where is your pearl necklace? And they cannot say that we put the pearl necklace in the ground so that there will be trees. And the trees happened, but no pearls are there. All that, they will not listen. So all pastimes, wonderful pastimes are there. Krishna is playing a prank on Srimati Radharani and the Sakhis. So that's the and all these type of, for example, where do we find all these type of pastimes? So there's Gopal Champu books. All these books written by whom? By the Manjaris. Rupa Manjari. Then Dan Keli Kaumudi. That is a particular book about asking for Dan by Srimati Radharani, that Krishna and Srimati Radharani in Govardhan, written by Raghunath Das Goswami. Wonderful books are there where these the Goswamis are basically revealing secret pastimes of Krishna and Srimati Radharani. So to a certain extent, we have understood who is a Dhir Lalita. So whenever this concept of Dhir Lalita comes, immediately our thinking should be Krishna is Dhir Lalita. We are not supposed to be Dhir Lalitas. Next, 189. Ratri din kunje krida kore Radha sange koishor boyos shuffle koilo krida range koishar. So this is basically day and night Lord Krishna enjoys the company of Srimati Radharani in the bushes of Vrindavan. Thus his pre-youthful age is fulfilled through his affairs with Srimati Radharani. So Kaishor period. After that, I think will be Yovanamcha. After this is Yovanam period. But I think Kishori. Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani, they are called Kishori.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
The Kishore age actually starts from 11 to 15.
Perfect. This is what I told you just now. But
Yes.
physically, Krishna displayed all that 11 to 15 years beforehand. So just remember, 3 years, when he was 3 years, he wanted to take the calves. And by 5 years, he wanted to take the cows. Correct? But actually, it is when he was 5 years, he takes the calves. When it is maybe later years, when he takes the calves. So 2/3 is the physical age of Krishna when he enacted all the pastimes. So this is where the confusion is. So I also was very confused all these years. Then later on, like somehow I so-called tried to reconcile. I do not know whether my reconciliation will be accepted or not, but this is the way I've understood. Yes, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Okay,
190.
Prabhu. Thank you.
190. Directly. Anybody could do the translation, please?
Thus, Lord Sri Krishna spoke of the sexual activities of the previous night. In this way, he made Srimati Radharani close her eyes out of shyness. Taking this opportunity, Sri Krishna painted various types of dolphins on her breasts. Thus, he became a very expert artist for all the gopis. During such pastimes, the Lord enjoyed the fulfillment of his youth.
So this is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So basically, like talking about his Dhir Lalita characteristic of Krishna. Prabhu kahe eho hoy, aage kaho ar, Rāya kahe iha bhai, buddhi goti nahi ar. Means Lord Chaitanya wants to hear more. And then Rāmānanda Rāya says, my mind is no more, like my mind is now blocked. It's not moving any further. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, This is all right, but please continue. At that time, Raya Rāmānanda replied, I don't think my intelligence goes beyond this. 192. যেবা প্রেম বিলাস বিবর্ত একে হয় তাহা শুনি তোমার সুখ হয় কি না হয়. So Raya Ramananda then informed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that there was another topic called Prema Vilas Vivarta. You may hear of this from me. Ramananda Raya said, but I do not know whether you will be happy with it or not. Now this particular Vilas Vivarta is Vipralambha. This is separation from Srimati Radharani. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not interested in separation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is himself in the bhav of Srimati Radharani, and she doesn't like separation anymore. Too much of separation has already happened. She likes now association with Lord Krishna. That is Sambhoga, opposite of Vipralambha. These statements are set forth for our understanding according to Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. In essence, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Rāmānanda Raya, my dear Rāmānanda, the explanation you have given about the goal of life and the pastimes of Srimati Radharani and Krishna is certainly the truth. Although this is factual, you can continue telling me more if there is anything more to say. In reply, Rāmānanda Raya said, I do not think I have anything to say beyond this, but there is a topic called Prema Vilas Vivarta, which I may explain to you. I do not know whether it will bring you happiness or not. So, Lord Chaitanya most probably would not be interested. See, let's see. এত বলি আপন কৃত গীত এক গাহিল প্রেমে প্রভু স্বহস্তে তার মুখ আচ্ছা দিল. So Rāmānanda Raya started singing a song. Saying this, Rāmānanda Raya began to sing a song he had composed. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of ecstasy of love of Godhead, immediately covered Rāmānanda's mouth with his own hand. So he stopped. It was becoming too much for Lord Chaitanya to bear this particular song. The topics are about to be discussed between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rāmānanda Raya cannot be understood by a materialistic poet, nor by intelligence or material perception. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that the spiritual mellow can be realized only when one is situated on transcendental platform beyond, that is called Vishuddha Sattva. Realization of the Vishuddha Sattva platform is beyond the pale of material world and is not perceived by bodily senses or mental speculation. Our identification with the gross body and subtle mind is different from spiritual understanding. Since the intelligence and mind are material, the loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are beyond their perception. So, Sarvopadi Vinurmuktam Tat Paratvena Nirmalam. When we are free from all material designations and our senses are completely purified by the bhakti process, we can understand the sense activities of the absolute truth. Rishikesha Rishikena Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. The spiritual senses are beyond the material senses. A materialist can think only of the negation of material variety. He cannot understand spiritual variety. He thinks that spiritual variety simply contradicts material variety and is a negation or void, but such conceptions cannot even reach the prickings of spiritual realization. The wonderful activities of the gross body and subtle mind are always imperfect. They are below the degree of spiritual understanding and are ephemeral. The spiritual mellow is eternally wonderful and is described as Purna, Suddha, Nitya Mukta, that is complete, perfect, pure, and eternally liberated. When we are unable to fulfill our material desires, there is certainly sorrow and confusion. This may be described as Vivarta, but in spiritual life, there is no sorrow, inebriety, or imperfection. Srila Rāmānanda Raya was expert in realizing the spiritual activities of Srimati Radharani and Krishna, and Rāmānanda's spiritual experience was placed before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as he inquired whether the Lord approved his realization of spiritual truth. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu closed his hand. So, there are 3 books. This you can read on your own. Let us move to the next verse, which is basically the poem. Pohele hi rag nayan bhange bhel onodino raholo abodina gel na gelo না শো রমন না হামি রমণী দুহমন মনোভাব পেশল জানি এ সখী সে সব প্রেম কাহিনী কানুঠামে কহবি বিছুরল জানি না খোঁজলু দুতি না খোঁজলু আন দুহকেরি মিলনে মধ্য তো পাঁচ বান অব সহি বিরাগ তহু ভেলি দুতি সুপুরুষ পুরুষ প্রেম কি ওই ছন রীতি. So the translation goes like this. Anybody will read this translation?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Alas, before we met, there was an initial attachment before us brought about by an exchange of glances. In this way, attachment evolved. That attachment has gradually grown and there is no limit to it. Now that attachment has become a natural sequence between ourselves. It is not that it is due to Krishna, the enjoyer, nor it is due to me, for I am enjoyed. It is not like that. This attachment was made possible by mutual meeting. The mutual exchange of attraction is known as Manobhava or Cupid. Krishna's mind and my mind have merged together. Now, during this time of separation, it is very difficult to explain these loving affairs. My dear friend, through Krishna, might have forgotten all these things. You can understand and bring this message to him. But during our first meeting, there was no messenger between us, nor did I request anyone to see him. Indeed, Cupid's 5 arrows were our via media. Now, during this separation, that attraction has increased to another ecstatic state. My dear friend, please act as a messenger on my behalf, because if one is in love with a beautiful person, this is the consequences. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So these verses were sung by Rāmānanda Rāya. So it suggests that during the time of conjugal enjoyment, the attachment might be compared to Cupid himself. During the time of separation, Cupid becomes the messenger of highly elevated love. This is called Prema Vilas Vivarta. When there is separation, conjugal enjoyment itself acts like a messenger. And that messenger was addressed by Srimati Radharani as a friend. So transcendental loving affairs are as relishable during separation is as during conjugal enjoyment. And Srimati Radharani was fully absorbed in love of Krishna. She mistook a black tamal tree for Krishna and embraced it. Such a mistake is called Prema Vilas Vivarta. So tamal tree is the messenger in between, and tamal tree is like a friend. There are two divisions of ecstasies experienced in relationship of conjugal love, Sambhoga and Vipralambha. Sambhoga platform, the ecstasies are unlimited. Vipralambha, like the ecstasy exhibited before the lover and beloved meet. The ecstasy experienced between them after meeting. The ecstasy of mind experienced by not meeting. And the state of mind experienced after meeting but fearing separation. So that is Vipralambha. That Vipralambha serves as a nourishing element for future meetings. So when the lover and beloved meet all of a sudden and embrace one another, they feel an ecstasy of happiness. The state of mind they experience in that ecstasy is called Sambhoga, opposite of Vipralambha. When there is meeting, but when there is separation, the 4 types of separation, then there is a yearning for meeting. So, oh my Lord, you live in the forest of Govardhan Hill, and like the king of elephants, you are expert in the art of conjugal love. O master of the universe, your heart and Srimati Radharani's heart are just like shellac and are now melted in your spiritual perspiration. Therefore, one can no longer distinguish between you and Srimati Radharani. Now you have mixed your newly invoked affection, which is like vermilion, with your melted hearts. And for the benefit of the whole world, you have painted both your hearts red within this great palace of the universe. So this verse is quoted by Rāmānanda Rāya. and also by Rupa Goswami. Radha Krishno Ekatma Dui Deho Dhori Onyanne Vilaser Rosh Ashadon Kori. Radha and Krishna are one and the same, but they have assumed two bodies. Thus, they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. Sorry, dear devotees, you'll have to give me some more time. One is enjoying in two. Sri Krishna is the potent factor, and Srimati Radharani is the internal potency. According to Vedanta philosophy, there is no difference between the potent and the potency. They are identical. We cannot differentiate between one and the other any more than we can separate fire from heat. Radharani is the internal potency of Sri Krishna, and she eternally intensifies the pleasure of Sri Krishna. The very name Radha suggests that Srimati Radharani is eternally the topmost mistress of the comforts of Sri Krishna. As such, she is the medium transmitting the living entity's service to Sri Krishna. Devotees in Vrindavan therefore seek the mercy of Srimati Radharani in order to be recognized as loving servitors of Sri Krishna. Then 196, Prabhu kohe, Shadho Vastu Rabodi ei hoy, Tomar Prasade Yaha, Janilu Nishchoy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirmed these verses recited by Sri Rāmānanda Rāya, saying, this is the limit of the goal of human life. Only by your mercy have I come to understand it conclusively. Sri Krishna himself said, Bina Radha Prasadena Mama Kripa na labhyate. Without the mercy of Radharani, no one can get my mercy. Dear devotees, I have a question before you raise questions. What are the various opportunities given to us of associating with Krishna?
Book Bhagavad, Prabhu.
Book Bhagavad. What else?
Tulsi.
Holy name.
Holy name. What else?
Tulsi, Prabhuji.
Tulasi. What else?
Ganga Devi.
His pastime.
Ganga Devi.
Deity worship.
Deities. Very good.
Aartis.
Arati. Then what is all this? Yes.
Person Bhagavatam.
Yes,
Person
yes.
Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam is book Bhagavad. Yes, mentioned.
Person Bhagavatam. Book already Prabhu told.
Oh,
Person Bhagavatam.
Bhakta Bhagavad. Very good.
Satsanga.
Satsanga. Oh, so nice.
Visiting
Krishna's,
Yes.
Krishna's dress, Krishna's flute, every paraphernalia.
Oh, paraphernalia. Very good.
Visiting dhams.
Yes, yes. Rāmānanda Prabhu.
Dham visit.
I couldn't hear you.
Visiting dham. Holy dham.
Holy
Oh,
places.
dham. Fantastic. Dham also. So, dear devotees, then what is all this Vipralambha and thing like that meant for us? We already have Krishna. We have Krishna, and when we are chanting the holy name of the Lord, then Krishna is dancing on our tongue. And you know that there are three sounds that come out of our mouth when we pronounce Hare Krishna. What are the three types of sounds? You know, which are the three types of sounds that come out of our mouth? One is obviously the physical sound that comes out of our mouth, and that hits the eardrums. Then what are the other types of sound that comes out? Obviously, there will be a subtle sound also that comes out, because that subtle sound has to hit the mind. Because the mind cannot have a vibration. Yes, a subtle sound will hit the mind. Then there is a third type of sound. Transcendental sound that hits the soul. So there are three types of sounds that come out when we are. So Krishna is there. So what is the problem? Then why Vipralamba? Why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talking about Vipralamba and saying that I have understood the highest conclusion and all that. So what is in it for us? Just now I completed chapter 16 of Canto 1 and chapter 17 also I was doing, where I found that chapter 15, Arjuna, when Krishna had unmanifested himself, Arjuna was crying out of separation. Then bull and cow, they were discussing cow was also lamenting. Bull was asking the cow, why are you lamenting? The cow also said same thing, because of separation I'm lamenting. But in case of us, we have all these already available with us. Then why are we lamenting? Why are we supposed to be lamenting, or why are we supposed to be having vipra lambha mood? Why separation?
Hare Krishna
The
Prabhuji, can
last
I try?
Yes, Bir Prabhu. After that,
Yeah.
Nitya Prabhu.
When Lord Krishna was leaving this world and Uddhav was with him, and Uddhav has asked the same question. So you are going away from me, so how I can live? So Lord Krishna, even Lord Krishna is telling, you always hear my pastimes. Similarly, the gopis, out of their this transcendental madness, so one become like Krishna, another become gopi. So they enact all the pastimes of Krishna. So by that, so they get the highest pleasure. So if we, it depends on the level of the devotees. So if the devotees, they are so much engrossed in the pastimes of the Lord, so they always want to hear and do this pastime. So if they do not do, then they have this separation mood. This is my understanding.
Fantastic. Yes. And I wanted another concept also along with this. If you are not able to do all this, then you are feeling separation. You are supposed to be feeling separation. Yes, Nitya Narsingha Prabhu, you had raised your voice.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, like our parents or dears and nears, when they leave this world, we feel separation. It is quite natural. And Krishna is our father, original father. So when he is not here, so we have that natural tendency, that feeling of separation.
Prabhuji, we just discussed that Krishna is there, because in all those points that came out, Krishna is there. Then how come separation? And Veer Prabhu fantastically said ki if you are unable to do that, yes, it is like this. If that hankering is not coming in, for example, you know what is the level of, how do you understand whether you have been able to, whether you have reached the level of nishtha?
So, Prabhuji, these five qualities of the surrendering to Krishna. One quality is we should never waste time
Never
in
waste
even a
time.
single moment. So in Krishna consciousness. So if we have come to that stage, that means that is Nishtha, Prabhu.
I can be chanting like this, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. I'm not wasting time, but I am chanting. Maybe I'll chant like this. I'll chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. I'm chanting. I'm not wasting time. But I'm seeing the mobile.
But it is not attentive, Prabhu. It is not attentive.
The word is attentive. Perfect. If we are unable to be attentive in our chanting, then we should be having separation. That's all. Hare Krishna. This is what I had to convey. Hare Krishna. Yes, Rāmānanda Prabhu. Nitya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I ask some question, Prabhu, or
Please,
Teddy
please.
Prabhu will say?
Please.
Prabhuji, as you mentioned, it was nectarine class and the mesmerizing and your body language and everything. You took us to different world in today's class. Thank you, Prabhuji. And my question is like Lord Krishna has done all these pastimes at appropriate age, in fact, in advance of age. And Srila Prabhupada, in many purpose, he mentions that whatever propensities or qualities we have certain qualities. Few percentage of what Lord Krishna is having. But if same person in this material world, if he does, because it is a necessity of the body, when we got this human form of life, and of course,
Krishna is there in the center. But when that person does the same activity, we chastise them. And of course, in the age of Kali, this is all practically not possible. But if somebody does that, we tell him or we condemn him. Would you enlighten on this part, Prabhuji?
Condemn somebody who's trying to act like a Dhir Lalita.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, it's condemnable, not only because basically they are trying to replicate Krishna, and Krishna is totally transcendental, and while yeah, in the material world one will be totally focused on sense gratification. So it's condemnable, because if one is in sense gratification, then one will not attain perfection. So from the point of view of preaching application also, you have to condemn.
But whereas Lord Krishna himself is exhibiting this and
See, I'll tell you what. One thing, let us be very, very clear. The normal texts like Bhagavatam, like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, they don't spell out all those pastimes of Krishna. It is only like because of some esoteric texts or secrets revealed by our acharyas that we come to know about all this. Correct? So, maybe if once we come to know and we start, that is the reason why it is also said that one should not directly go and start reading Canto 10 of Bhagavatam. Then one will be interested in reading those 5 chapters, where Raslila chapters or pastimes, Gopis pastimes chapters. So it's like that. So if from 2 points of view, one, this is anyway Kali Yuga, and we are supposed to be like this is a very misfortunate period that we are into. And anyway, we have a whole lot of anarthas. Everybody who is born in Kali Yuga must be having a lot of anarthas. So which is the reason why we have a tendency to misinterpret and emulate while we are not supposed to be emulating. It's like that. This is my understanding. Correct, Prabhu?
thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
One question I'm asking, Prabhuji. This race, I don't know whether it's asking correct or not. We were telling to the Krishnas everywhere. I have one doubt from the Katwang Maharaj. He was in the Devaloka, Devadanam. He was going to die within the 1 hour, 48 minutes. Why he not die from there? Why you come to the material world? He's supposed to think about himself from there and die in the Devaloka. Why you come to the material world and come to he was leave his body from here? He is
So
the
you
one
know where is Devaloka? Devaloka is on top of Sumeru mountain. Sumeru mountain is a mountain made of gold. All right. And in Devaloka, especially Indraloka, you have all sorts of pleasures out there. So I call it 7-star pleasures. Correct? So in such an environment, where is the possibility of you performing in those 40-48 minutes pure devotional service? So it is only in this Bhumandala only where you can perform pure devotional service. That is the way the entire universe has been created. So Bhumandala is so important. On top of it, it is Bharat Varsha. On top of it, it is Bharat Khanda. Bharat Khanda is basically this entire globe. So Jambu Dvipe, Bharat Varshe, and Bharat Khande, you can go back to Godhead.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Wonderful
Hare
class. It was really taken us, as Prabhu was mentioning, you taken us to different world. And the way you explained very, very intimate pastimes is very nice. That shows your expertise. You are a nice, wonderful preacher. I know you are already taking Bhakti Shastri for Mayapur Institute and also probably Bhakti Vaibhava also. Really, it is our fortune that you are with us and you are giving your wonderful association every week and also accepting to bestow your mercy once in a while by preaching also. Thank you so much, Rohit. It's so nice to hear always from you. I think someone has a question to Sangeeta Mataji. You can
Hare
please unmute.
Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to everybody.
Just
Ji,
pranam is
wonderful
sufficient.
class taken by you. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I just wanted to ask regarding nakshatras, which you said. Nakshatras are related to rishis, you said. Now,
That's-
like I have studied about nakshatras. They fall into the 27. The 9 planets fall into the 27 nakshatras fall into the 9 planets. All the 9 planets are given 3 nakshatras each. So you said it is related to some rishis. Now I have studied about this that all nakshatras have their deities. Number one, number two, they have their particular flowers and leaves. So every person born into nakshatra should, pray to those for auspicious, times they really desire to have in their life. So I that you said something about the rishis that they reside in, and nakshatras belong to rishis. So I just had the curiosity to know where can I read more about it.
Bhagavatam, Canto 5.
Which canto, Prabhuji?
Five,
Sorry,
five,
Prabhuji, which canto?
five,
5
five.
canto. And Prabhuji, oh, right, nice. And very nice, good knowledge you have, and very nice pronunciation of shlokas. You did, I think so, you're Bengali. That's why you, have such good pronunciation of shlokas.
Yeah. That's all right.
That's very nice. That's very nice, Prabhuji. Wonderful class taken by you. Very spiritually awakened. I felt nice. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams to you and
No,
everybody.
no Dandavards. Just pronounce is sufficient.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Thank
Hare Bol. Nitya Prabhu.
Prabhu, you mentioned the book. What is the book name and what are the 3 books we should read? You mentioned, but you didn't mention the names of those
Oh, it
books.
was mentioned in that. It's mentioned in the purport only.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And His Holiness
Copy that in the
Bhakti
chat
Purushottam
also.
Maharaj book.
Oh, this Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj. Arey, there are 2 volumes actually. Arey, gem of a
Srimati
book.
Radharani. Srimati Radharani.
Srimati Radharani. I am unable to show you properly.
Blur. This book is not
Not
visible.
coming.
Cover page not visible.
Srimati Radharani is there.
Yeah.
Like you'll be able to get. I think might be there in Amazon also.
That is there.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you.
Part 1 and Part 2. Part 2 talks more about Satyabhama. And Part 1 Srimati Radharani. Mind-blowing books. Actually, there is one. Can I do one small canvassing, Rāmānanda Prabhu?
Yeah, bro. Please.
See, I am also working on these small books of Srila Prabhupada. And lot of devotees from Middle East, they are participating in working on those small books. So what we are doing is basically, see, we have this Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava and all these courses. But there are many new devotees, youth. There are many children who are participating in children's programs, but their parents do not have anything to fall back on. So some courses for parents based on small books of Srila Prabhupada. We are trying to develop all these type of courses under Ministry of Education, ISKCON Ministry of Education. If anybody wants to volunteer in this development of this course, one can always reach out to me and be part of this particular team who will basically work out, prepare, say, and we are coming out with a mobile app. which on these small books and medium books of Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada once said that Bhakti Shastri should also include these small books. So from that point of view, I was thinking that I would also raise this point amongst you, so that if anybody would be interested, would approach me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Rāmānanda Prabhu, for everything. Yes, Bhaktananda Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Just for information, that is the Bhakti Steps one, the website is there. Our Shiksha Guru, Sangeeta Ananda Gauradas Prabhu, he introduced that one. Bhakti Steps one website is there. It's designed by that one. It's there the small books and everything is there. We read it from the for the shelter and aspirant and initiation, that you have to complete the small books also. That we are already implemented our the area, Prabhuji.
Bhakti Steps, please,
Yeah, but Bhakti
please
Steps
share
only.
this. Please share this with me. Then
Yes.
that will make our life so simple.
Yeah, that is there available, and that what we needed to read from this for the aspirant and the shelters, they're given already for that one.
Fantastic, fantastic. Bhakti steps.
Yes,
Please do share with me. Then
Yes, sure.
we'll be able to take it forward.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Rāmānanda Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Again, a nice class, and you given a lot of time, and so nice of you. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much once again. Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you very much,
Krishna.
all of you devotees. Prabhu, we can conclude the session so that we
Yes,
can.
Hare Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Vancha kalpataru vescha kripa